Hello, friends. Hello, audience, fans, uh, weasels who benefits from this without telling me, and parasites, honorable people, those who enjoy my work. Welcome to my show. Well, this is going to be another ad hoc commentary, hindsight commentary, or retrospective commentary on whatever I've produced so far. However, this is going to be an ad hoc. I have few points to make, and I do believe uh, this is the last commentary, intermediate commentary before I move on to the next video, which I believe is 10. Okay, so let's watch this. Check out Senor Mr. Parker. Now notice his eyes. Nothing is ad hoc, nothing is per chance in this movie. You'll always see those flexible conduits. And this here, I do not know, but it's like six. And Superman, there's like a Christian Superman, and there's a Jewish Superman, and Gnostic and whatnot, underground stuff. Anyways, so here we go. Keep noticing. Notice his eyes, right? They show you his eyes, right? Like they're very, here the face is that of a demon. It's unfortunate that they use black men for such representation. I just can't, like I cannot fathom why they have such considerations for different races. Keep noticing, right? Keep noticing. Here, if you stop it here and look close, you will see the face to be like really, really evil. I mean, if you look at the eyes and the lighting, and it's, I mean, this here is how they portray Parker. Somewhat disturbing, Notice here there are like the pupil or the iris disappear, and there's like a big eye of a reptilian, right? Like UFO or whatever it is, those grays, right? And they keep doing this, right? Uh, right? Okay. So now I'm going to say a point here. The word Balaji, that Balaji on the cigarettes, and then I showed you in a number of places that they mean by it. They always put it next to Cain, and it's standing up only when he dies, and then he's thrown out, and when there's a breach by the face hugger or whatever entity that is the xenomorph within him, which I called earlier to be sperm whale, right? So Balaji, Bolaji is the actor who's working the xenomorph, right? Who's dressed, acting, playing the role of the xenomorph here, right? I don't think this is per chance. From what I heard, they found him in a club, he stole and so on. So they asked him, you want to be in the movies? I think it's more than that. I think they know his name, and it conforms to that name on the pack of cigarettes, right? Imperial, Balaji Imperial. So if you look at that, Balaji, I want to take a chance and then try to interpret it on my own language, my native language, which is Arabic, right? So ba, sometimes these prefixes, abu, or ba, or bal, or bu, or ben, and all these are Arabic. Sometimes they're used by the Jews, right? But ba here means abu, or father of, right? So Balaji, Balaji, Balaji. This here is used by Bedouins, right, in deep Arabia. The word Aji or Aji, right, Balaji, Balaji is the father of the pupil. Aji is a child, right? Aji is a child, right? Boy. That's why it's not exactly formal, and I don't know where it came from, right? But I do recall from my early days back home in Syria that those Bedouins, deep desert Bedouins, they use it. Ajay or Ajian. So Balaji is the father of the pupil or the child, or the boy, toddler, or something like that. Ajian, those usually the children or the boys that go out and play in the neighborhood. They call them Ajian or Ajay. So Balaji is the father of the pupil. I knew this, right? So that's the name of Balaji. Now, I want to say something else about Sophia or Safia. Safia is, like I said, an Arabic word. And it's used as a name, Safi or Safiya, right? Or Mustafa, right? They all are derived from the same root. And what it means is chosen one, not chosen one per Jewish concept. No, no, no. Chosen one is like the favorite one. Let's put it this way, the favorite one. So Safiya, which is the origin of the name Sophia in the West, was the name of the Jewish girl or the Jewish wife of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, right? Now they portray Sarah as she, as I showed you in earlier video, that they portray her Ripley as Sarah, and that her husband Prophet Muhammad, or who's Ash, right? You know how he treats her, how he deals with her, how he, abuses her and so on. And I explained in the commentary that can't be farther from the truth. We know, but then it hit me. I remembered something I wanted to bring to you. She's Safiya or Sophia, who's portrayed as probably Sarah here now, as Ripley, right? Used to fess up to him, tell him about the situation and what her own father and her own uncle and those prominent figures in that neighborhood or in that fort where her father and his cohorts used to live, how they talked about him, right? So she loved the Prophet, as a husband. She was in love with him, right? And then she fessed up to him. One day, she said, as soon as the Prophet arrived in Medina, she told the Prophet that her father and her uncle, I think her uncle, if I recall correctly, it's been so many years, decades, right? And he says, is that him? He says, that is him. He says, what do we do? He says, animosity and war, right? She fessed that up to him, as a matter of fact. So as they portray it here, portray the situation here as she, she's been abused and didn't want to be with him and so on and so forth. Can't be farther from the truth, folks. She loved being with him and his wife, and not she. Any woman at that time wanted to be his wife, right? Similar to say, right now, the Ripleys and Sarahs attempting to be the wives of, rulers, kings, princes, rich businessmen, and so on. Even before, if you go read the book of Esther in the Old Testament, you would see how they snuck into the into the house of Koresh or Cyrus, right? And she married them and blah blah. So to portray Sarah here as such, she was a faithful woman, and she converted to his religion of Prophet Muhammad, and she loved him and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, she didn't have any children back then, unless they know otherwise, but I doubt it, right? Okay, so that's a point, and that was how they portray old Parker. Okay, here I wanted to show you something very quick. I explained earlier, look how Ash is turning his back toward the camera, right? Now he's converting from seen to unseen. They always think that that he is, because he was so powerful of a man and he brought this modern age, right? That's why they call him the science officer, right? If you remember Brett talking to him in one of the deleted scene, you're the science officer, right? So we live in the world that he and his companions made by revelation from Allah or God, right? So now here, I wanted to show you something that he is. I proved to you, at least from the script and the end, the hidden script in this movie, that he disappears and appears as they think of him, right? And then he goes into Mother. But notice,
I've got access to Mother now, and I'll get my own answers. Thank you.
He got no notice now, and he wanted to make sure. Here, apparently, she couldn't stay silent, right? So he got the hint and a pointer toward what she's about to do, and then he's going to be, of course, proactive and block her way, or block her from doing what he believes she wants to do, right? Whose Mother? I can't know, but I think Mother is something like a hidden network, even above the Mossad, right, which is the Israeli intelligence. has always been there, right? You would see it also in the movie Soylent Green, which I had some commentary on, but they blocked me. Soylent Green is the dollar and Soylent Yellow is gold, right? And how they fleece people out of their Soylent Green. So now he goes, notice. I don't know what that look means, but I do think that Lambert alerted her or blamed her, you know, or something of the sort, right? There is some kind of a wily, sinister look here. I don't know what she means, but from what they are portrayed here as uh, as a useless, uninitiated, dumbass, you know, a lamb. You know, she follows like lamb, but she doesn't even understand what the heck is going on. Notice here, she looks backward because she senses somebody is following her, right? Now she's aware of him, or she sensed something but she cannot see. See? Here there's, so she's alarmed, you know, she's showing that look of alarm. And then you saw the rest where he suddenly appears when she enters and the door is closed, right? But then he appears. I showed you that before, so, but that's all I wanted to show you is that she sensed something here. Okay, here, you know, I can always find things to point out to you, but here I wanted to show you what he did. And that is something you see in everywhere, right? Even in Eyes Wide Shut, even everywhere, you know? I had explained, but in Arabic, about 10 minutes span of time or stretch of 1984, where when O'Brien was breaking down, dogifying Winston, right, on that stretcher, right? And then he keeps guessing on the four, right? If you notice, that's what he was doing here. Notice, right? So this here is the four. That is what O'Brien tried to make John Hurt understand. Coincidentally, John Hurt is here as well in this movie, you know? See? So now he's pointing that at him, meaning he's marshaling some kind of a network or magic forces or whatever, you know. But all that is a lie. The prophet, we know his history. I mean, there's not one man in history or nation or anything else has been so documented than Prophet Muhammad and his. He had like 4,000 companions documenting him on a daily basis, and then that may actually say something about that. That the presence of that is also that, right? You see? And that's very strong. See, he's very strong. And he started yelping, right? He started crying and shouting from pain, right? So here, as I told you, I struggled a little bit before to show you the three boys. So there's one, there's two, and there's three, right? So he had three boys and four girls. The four girls are the eggs because they're embryos, right? And there's that figure looking at him, right? Watching him. And then there's that shout that appears to be a, sounds like an elephant shrieking, right? Or trumpeting. Elephants trump. Trumpeting. Right? So there you go. I found it here now. There's one, there's two, and there's three. And unfortunately, they all died, right? Three and two daughters before he died, and one, only two lived after he died. So 3 boys and 2 girls died before he died. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. All right, let's continue. Okay, here I want to show you something again. Again, you know, again, I could notice things and things and things. I'll never be able to cover the entire movie and exact all the details that encompasses therein, but I usually, you know, here I'm going to find, you know, I'm going to point out a couple of things. So here, if you look,
it's got a portable battery.
okay, so here, as you see that, that prod, which is really a phallus, right, is going to explode here, up here next to the head, right? And the sparks are really sperms. Here they are plotting on the xenomorph to marry him, right? So they can, steal his seed. They're gonna try to convince him to invest in, things of the sort. But who is that? Here is the net, right? Which shows on the cover of the movie, right? When the egg is upside down and the green color is either Islam or the dollars, right? And here, the net here is really Ripley. Is really Ripley herself, right? So that's the net. She is going to be the net that is going to entrap and fish out or capture the xenomorph. Notice.
All the way up here, all the way up to here. Just like damn sure nobody puts their hand on the end of it.
Notice. You see? I did show you that before, but I want to show you that again. Okay, here, and this is intentional. Lambert pouts, closes her lips tightly, right? So I don't know what that means in relationship to the scene here, but that's definitely noticeable, right? Let's try that again. She's looking upward. So she's looking at God, right? Or the xenomorph, as they portray him here. Now he's not what they always try to understand him or portray him or make him to look be. I come to discover along my years of experience, they have no clue what they're talking about. See? So that is in conjunction with this scene, Ripley being the trap, being the net, and the green stuff, right? And so on, right? So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So now the look here when he says he's big, Kane's son, this face shows that he is finding what he wanted to find or what to look for. There's a sign of confirmation here to what he really was expecting, right?
Kane's son.
Come on, Ash,
So, Ash, science department, that's him. You'll find it here and there that they acknowledge that science really was born after Ash or Muhammad or so and so, right? Before that, I really looked and found no Greek or anywhere else. But hey, the investors always would like to, they usually change hats. They take some from somebody. They take what they steal from so-and-so to give so-and-so. This is called dollars and 10 cents, right? Okay. Okay, here I have a theory, right? A conspiracy theory. I am not sure. As you can see, there is deep observation here. I have put some really good notes here and deep observation of the events, right? The script, the undeclared or unseen script, right? The hidden script within the script. So here I have a theory that doesn't conform to what I said earlier, but I will leave him as disconnected because, certain things you need the insider's information to define and understand and sort out the facts about, right? So here, what I am thinking is now after the fight, what they're trying to say here in the hidden script is that Ripley stole the seed from him, Prophet Muhammad, something we don't know in history, right? Maybe it happened, maybe it did not. I don't know. Because what we know is that Sophia really did not have any children from Muhammad, right? So is that something that happened and they kept it concealed and hidden? We do not know. But that sounds like an interesting fiction, right? But we know definitely because his wives and companions lived long after, and so was so did Sophia. So if she had any pregnancy or any observation or any change or or delivery of any child, then they would have noted that in history, right? But she definitely, you know, is there a possibility that she stole something spiritual from him? We don't think so. We know differently. We know different, right? So I want to show you something here. That's my theory. Is that here after they kill him, they steal. She has already acquired the seed, which really is, which is really. Now I know I said the seed is Cain, right? Is from Cain, right? And then that got transferred to Jonesy, the cat, which is a ginger cat, right? Blonde cat. And there's another theory I want to say here. But here, I think it's a possibility. What they mean by that is that they took his seed, but later generation. Now, I found something similar to that say, in the Ottoman, under the Ottoman Empire, right? Under the Ottoman Caliphate. So toward the end, those caliphs with the fez, right? They were marrying Jewish women and so on, such as Roxalana and whatnot, right? But now the living descendants or offspring of those of the last caliph of Abdul Hamid and Abdul Majid, right? Uh, you look at them and I know they're of the Jewish faith based on their mother's religion, right? And that's what that function as such as an occult, right? But here now, I wanna replay that. Uh, so here she's sad, as you can see. She's a little bit sad. Why? Because that's her offspring, right? Or his relationship, or the nation that bore, born his mission and spread in the world and so on. So she's here, she's like feeling very bad about it. Has she participated and things gone too far? And then now she's like, there's not much she can do, right? Notice the communication between these two. Now, what they're going to do is make sure she never disappears from their presence or go on her own, right? Why? Because they want to make sure that she doesn't bear a seed again. You understand? So if this was a nation or a cult such as Karmatians, Shiites, and whatnot, they want to make sure she doesn't have that seed, that she will have it. So notice the communications here between the two, right? Apparently there is some kind of a brain-mind communication about her, right? And now that the seed has been taken. And then again, you see the 1-4 right there. See? There's communication between the two.
We'll take our chances in the shuttle. Blow up the shuttle.
And here, she's like aghast. She's like poignant and hopeless, after losing him. See? So now he's trying to control her because the occults within Islamdom, right, that were born later by established by certain rabbis we know, of whom names we know, they depend completely on him and they make him the master of those occults, right? So here, what that means, maybe he's just, like grabbing her, making sure she doesn't, go outside of his sight, right? And here, as you can see, this is not haphazard or coincidental. This is by design, the eye and how he's looking at her and so on. Notice, right? So what that says that he and she, as I mentioned in earlier videos, are on the same page, are in the same league or alliance, right? Like united by fate, if you will. But the plot has fallen into place, just looks and I don't know, maybe they talk in spirit or in mind or something like that, or ultra high pitch, frequency and so on. And she's oblivious to that, of course. Could she be a certain man, but they's trying to portray him as a woman for one reason or another, so as to conceal the plot. And now notice, she's looking at her exactly like he just looked at her. Let's go back a little bit. Sorry for my poor quality studio and equipment. I'm a poor guy. See? I mean, that's very revealing. And as I mentioned earlier, in earlier video, you know, she has the watch, which means she's one of the wives, right? And then she's pressing the button. She's gonna press the button on here, right? But now they're making sure that she never goes alone as to cohort or find to be found by the xenomorph. As I showed you in the transient video when I thought they were blocking my videos right and left, right? So I made that crossover and transient video. So now they're gonna try to make sure that she's not on her own with the xenomorph. See the look? That's evil, man. That is evil. All right. So now, by the help of whoever, blah blah, Satan supposedly, or Parker, or the fallen angel, is now has with money. You know, as I told you, the tank that he hit him with on the back of the head means money, and right. He actually he's showing, you know, gloating. He's gloating, right? Notice he's gloating, and there's like that look of hatred and deep-rooted hatred. And now he's helpless. He's burning him or whatever nation is left of him, right? Which is really very big, right? Huge, as he said, meaning it covers the earth, which is true, yeah. So here, what they're trying to say is no mercy. There was that look of hate, yeah. He had to hate him and do so and so and like burn him without mercy, right? Things like that has been happening all over the earth in the last couple of centuries. Middle East in particular, still going on.
When we throw the switch.
So there is a hint as well I want to make mention of, I want to bring to your attention, is that the fight between, initial fight, you know, argumentation and bickering and dispute between Ash and Ripley in the room where Mother is, right? That's like the hidden espionage and monitoring and observation. I am surrounded by those imbeciles myself around here. Monitors, cameras, hearing. I mean, I'm telling you, folks, that Mother has like very extensive network, all kind of, you know, parasitic and right. So what I'm trying to say is that the fight between Ripley and Ash at the start was actually as if it is between husband and wife. If you notice, if you go back and observe a little bit, right, and kind of think about it, you will see that's what it seems to be. So I have another note to make about Lambert. She is the female Arab, right? But then she's a lamb in her mind and psyche. And now once Ash is burned and Kane is gone, right? She no longer, they're going to make sure that she no longer bears the seed of the xenomorph, right? But here I wanted to bring to your attention, let's replay this. Keep looking at their faces, and how they portray Parker.
10 minutes.
He's a coward.
No bullshit.
We get out of here in 10 minutes. We won't need no rocket to fly through space.
We're gonna need coolant for the air support system.
So at this juncture, I am not sure. I don't think so. This is just a secondary hint or theory. The main theory about the transition from of the seed or transform or relocation of the seed from the xenomorph into Ripley and Jonesy thereof. Jonesy is the seed, right? That is taken from the xenomorph and is no longer with Lambert, if you will. Here, what they're trying to say is Lambert is just a lamb, right? So they don't want the seed to be in here because she's a lamb, right? That's why the corporation upstairs who sent the robot who is Prophet Muhammad, right? Why they call him a robot? Because he receives revelation. And there's such a verse in the Quran that goes like this: وَمَا يَنطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ وَمَا يَنطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. Meaning he doesn't speak of his whims, and rather it is a revelation from God to him. That's the regarding the Quran and the message, and so on, right? So now what they're saying is that the Ripley's side is demonic, right? Because they keep showing them as one-eyed monsters, right? And the Ripley is just useless. You know, she lost the seed because she lost it, right? Is what they're trying to say. So it's not a matter of whom, say, the xenomorph chooses, right, to bear his seed. It's a matter of them trying to yank it out from him, like it or not, right? And there's something similar to that in Space Odyssey 2001, Snake Odyssey. You know, if you look at my commentary on that one, I can still do more commentary on the Matrix and on the other movies that I commented on, those iconic movies. Icon is from Arabic, iqon, right? Iqoniya, right? So anyways, you can see stuff like that in there, Matrix and 2001 Snake Odyssey and so on, right? But here, as you can see, the process has already excluded all right, so let me stop it here and move to the second. So just to be humorous a little bit, I keep reading Pink Floyd as Pink Fluid for some reason. I make those mistakes. Pink Fluid, Pink Floyd. I don't know. So here, I see something that I have a theory on. That this writing here you can read upside down. You know how I speculated about, so here you could see ASSA and then D probably or whatever, but the one, PASA, or ASSA. What I mean by that is I have a theory. You know how I speculated about this being Persia, you know, financially speaking, or as a power, superpower and so on, that modern Iran revolution, such as Ayatollah and so on, they mean to replace the United States with, you know, the Khomeini revolution, Rabbi Khomeini, right? Khomeini, right? But then who is Jonesy the cat? I mean, that's just a theory, right? You know how that dictator of Syria, the one who was just deposed, was called Assad, right? And Assad really is a cat, right? Assad is a cat, and he's got blue eyes. You know, I don't know where he got those. Right? But right? They probably mean by him that, right? Is that they are transferring the seed to Assad himself, whose name is really not Assad. Assad is the lion, right? Literally means lion. You know, there are other names of the lion in the Arabic language, right? But now they may mean him by that, right? By the cat, by Jonesy the cat. And you know, he's a whitish person and so on, right? And then his last name is Assad, which is the lion, or the cat, Jonesy the cat. But that's not their original last name. Their original last name, that family, which comes from, now we pretty much sure they come from Isfahan, Iran, or maybe they're not exactly human beings. There's some kind of a demonic creed, you know, Nephilims or jinn, or if you want, fallen angels or something like that, or they're totally brainwashed and possessed. They don't know where they come from and so on. However, they were brainwashed and they just basically behave the way they do. Excuse me. So Jonesy here may mean that actually, but that's a secondary theory. I mean, I'm not really vehement on that. But look at him. You know, his face shows you some kind of a demonic like reflection on his face. You know, the impression on his face is really evil. I mean, those guys know how to capture and project such look, right? Let's try that again. He's also supposedly one-eyed monster, right? And that's what I wanted to bring to your attention here. So here, what the fallen angel did to Prophet Muhammad or his nation or his religious is Not face to face, he couldn't do that. So he came from behind. Notice, while he's not looking, and he capitalized on the below the belt sucker punch. Notice. Notice. He pushes his nation away from him because she may try to protect him, right? Let's see. Now she's probably try to protect him, right, Lambert? Here she's just trying to pull him back. Notice. Now he separates between her and him, right? And then he comes at him from behind. What this means here is he comes at him from where he cannot see, right? He cannot see. He comes at him from where he cannot see. That he entered his world, right, and then hit him from behind. Here it means that he, Ash, or Prophet Muhammad, or his religion or nation, couldn't see, right? You know, he couldn't see. He came from where he couldn't see. Meaningly, he attacked him from hidden places and, you know, concealed networks and so on and so forth, right? Okay, here I see a face or an eye. If you focus closely, that's where it is. See here? There's like some kind of a face or an eye, but I see one eye that is closed and one eye that is opened. Let's try that again. And here it looks like some kind of a fish, right? I'm sure about the eye, right? But I'm not sure about the fish. That's definitely an eye there, right? That's definitely an eye. So that's what was within. If you noticed earlier, I showed you about the eye that is looking out of the egg when Cain, you know, like was pounced by the face hugger, and then I can clearly show you the one eye. And here I see it again. Notice, right? So they're showing it here. You see it? Now I see it. There it is. There, right there. So there's a face here that is attached. It's like a face attached to the body, but the head is away. Similar to, you know, that movie. What is it? Total Recall, when they open up the guy and then they found that little creature inside and he starts talking. All right. So here. So here, what we see is he got decapitated. So the caliphate was decapitated. Let's say number of times, 3 times, right? As they portray him in other places, in other movies, as the snake with 3 heads, and then you cut the head, and then it goes back again, and. But even though he was decapitated, and there's some truth to that, right? There's a truth to that. But yet, he's not out of energy. He still have a lot of fighting spirit in him. So now he's headless, right? That world, that extremely gigantic and large, as mentioned by Parker himself, but there's still a lot of fighting in him. Notice, right? And there's a lot of truth to that. Although the religion or the Islam that was decapitated, I mean, it's far from being out of spirit, right? I don't know what they mean by that. So now, his own mother, or his own relative, or his own nation gets him, right? The lamb, you know, the one that's like demented and useless. Notice the head, right? And there's truth to that. as a matter of fact, he and Lambert, or he and Ripley, could not do much, right? It took a lot of you're on the inside, I'm on the outside thing, like such as Karmatians, such as Shiites, such as so and so and so and so. They destroyed their own nation, if you understand what I'm saying, right? And I can give you 100 examples just in this century alone, and maybe a few hundred in the last century alone, and all around the Middle East and so on, right? But before that, we can talk about inquisitions, we can talk about Mongol invasion and right, so much like Fatimid, like Safavid and Safavid and Safafid and so on. But that's what the illustration here says, right? So Jesus mean Christianity as well. That, what does that mean? Probably Crusaders, and later on, like the colonialism, such as England, France, Italy, and so on and so forth, occupying that old world, right? Or the Islamdom, right? In Asia and Africa and the Middle East and Europe as well. So here, sorry. So here, what this may mean is really bringing Ash back to life is not exactly what you may think it is. I think what this here is cloning, one of his descendants, or something of the sort, because they are science division as well. They're pretty intelligent, right? So they can know how to wage war against him, right? So this here is maybe cloning, maybe something of the sort, but that's not old Ash, the one they already killed and burned and decapitated, right? Which is the family or offspring of, or relatives of the Prophet, ruling as caliphs, right? And we know of 4 or 5, right? There's 4 main ones, and then there are smaller ones, right, around the world. But that's what I think this here indicates, like offspring or someone from who's very related to him, or of the same type, or nation, and so on. So they have that intelligence, right? So they wake him up to show them how they can kill, and but this new creature who was brought to life, this is similar in a way to when Neo was killed by the agents at the end, and then they show you that he woke up again. Well, he's really dead, but what got up from him is really his seed that was taken by Trinity, right, and Morpheus. And this is pretty much the same, right? And then this guy, of course, being very intelligent, he does assessment and then just tells them what's going on, right? You can't kill him, right? So a side note, I think I noticed that Lambert, maybe there's the assumption here that untold script, that's the script within the script, is that Ripley was somehow convinced Lambert that Ash, who's related to her offspring, I would say, or something of the sort, right? And Cain as well, right? Is there evil? No, Cain, there's a question about Cain. I would speculate that she participated not knowing things are going to progress that bad, right? Or descend down like into some uncharted regions, and then, there's nothing she can do. But here she was convinced that he is really evil, is why she participated against him. So lamb is lamb, right? Lamb, earth. And there's some truth to that, because among those occults, among the Arabs, right, within the Arabs and Muslims that arose later, were established by certain rabbis, if you really talk to them and they fess up their inner feelings and the concealed things that they harbor within, they tell you that Prophet Muhammad is they got convinced by Ripley's, right, that he's evil, and the good God or whatever it is really Parker, or the fallen angel, or this, Satan and 666 and so on, right? But now here in this movie and other movies as well, they show you that he's weak, that he's coward, that he's works only by eating, and at the end they really screw him up. Okay, one thing I wanted to explain here is what I think it is.
Hasn't got much of a range, but when you get within a certain distance, it'll start to give off a signal.
What's it key on?
What's it key on is how she is they're trying to figure out a way to seduce it, right? And there he is looking at her, right? Suspiciously, and doesn't know what it is. But what's it key on is what is his, what makes him tick, his predilection, his feelings, his, what makes him move, right? Is what that means really, is how do you seduce him, how do you attract him to you, right? You kind of formulate or carry out some kind of a plot, like to trip the guy and or the xenomorph, right? That's what that means. What's it key on? Some people like this, some people like that. Everybody is different from everybody else, right? I do believe from my heart that's what it means here. This scene here is how to trap the xenomorph by marrying him. Why is he in on it? Well, guess what? I'll let you figure that out yourself. But I believe that he wants, at one point, to really bring that xenomorph into existence or know where it is so he can continue his work. Here, I want to quote someone. I don't know his name, but it goes like this: Alas and alas, how easily the best of us are lighted down to evil by the gleam of a woman's eyes. So that's someone as H. Raider, Haggard, right? So that illustrates that, and if you look at history, study history and so on, even in the Bible, Esther, Roxolana, and maybe Sarah, Sophia or Sarah, right? I don't know. I mean, I'm just making an assumption here. So as you can see, there is something to that effect. All right. So here, this is like ways back. I noticed that Jonesy sits where that pack of cigarettes of Balaji sits, right? Was placed. It was placed here, I believe so. So here the link is obvious that Jonesy is the one to take the seed to replace Cain, right? I don't know, Cain, the son of the royal, who's probably Abraham or Prophet Muhammad, because he was wearing a turban in the mountains and so on, and smoking pipe, that long pipe, which, as I mentioned, was Ghalyoun. So that's a good notice here. So this is copyrighted material, by the way, not the movie itself, but whatever my commentary is anywhere on my YouTube channels, they're copyrighted. If you are going to take it, it'll be written on your account. You may not believe in that, but it is true, right? And then you shall be accounted on it, right? But the third junction, it hit me. The third junction may mean the caliphate, and that will be the Abbasid caliphate. I think that's what it is when they really did, especially Rabbi Timujin, which is called Genghis Khan, and his hordes, raided Baghdad and basically decapitated the Islamdom, right? However, what I'm trying to say here is I believe the third junction now means the caliphate, that third caliphate. So you got the wise caliphate, and then you got the Umayyads, and then you got the Abbasid. That's what I believe this is, the third junction means. At any rate, I may have one note or so, but then I will move to the next video, the main video. And then after that, I may do another commentary, follow up on the last video. I'm going to try to finish it, and I'm getting tired of this, like commenting on movies and so on. So I'm going to go and, and do other things, like they say. All right. And I'm going to put this on auction, this back scratcher. I'll sign it as well. If you're ever interested, let me know. I'll sell it to you. All right. So that's that. Let me see, maybe something else. Okay, so now when that happened, the third junction, the caliphate of the Abbasid caliphate, right? And it was decapitated by the Mongols and right? But those Mongols that came and decapitated the caliphate, they were defeated again in the Middle East in a series of 4 battles, and that put an end to them. However, they also became, they converted to the religion of their victims, right? Uh, and and here I showed you that there's like sperms and so on and so forth. So what I am thinking is they also injected themselves into the mainstream of the line of the prophet. So those sperms, right? Let me show you. And you know, you got your sex all over the place here, right? Right there, and you know, blue and 6, right? Nah, nah, nah.
Check it out, Lambert. You may begin interference.
Dallas, are you sure there's no sign of it? I mean, it is there.
So as you can see, here there's like the 4-1, right? You always see it 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like a gigantic egg. This tank is the gigantic egg, and there's like the 33 and so on. You know, they're like clues and symbolism and numerology and so on all over the place, right? I come to discover there's nothing per chance in this movie or other iconic movies, right? But this here stands out in complexity. It's more complex. The Kubrick's movies are read easier, right? Not this here. This is like at the end there are certain things you cannot really tie together until you have an insider's information. So here there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 by 3 is, I don't know. I'm not good in math. So you figure that out. All right.
It's gotta be around
And then there are the two, of course. This here is symbolism, right?
there.
Dallas?
So that's 48. I know. My son is far, my children are far smarter than I am in maths and stuff.
All right.
So I wanted to show you again, although they lost, right, the onslaught by Ripley and Sarah, in this instance it's Sarah, and or, you know, Safiya's so on Baghdad and the Middle East and Islamdom, you know, where they destroyed like whole entire countries. Some races were completely wiped out on their, you know, on their way into the Middle East. You know, there was Rabbi Timujin or Genghis Khan and so on, right? But they lost at the end, is what I'm saying here. However, here is where, you know, the sperms moved on. Let me show you.
Nope.
I showed you this before in in an earlier video, right?
Am I clear, Lambert? I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
Oh, God, it's moving right towards you.
So moving out toward you here is like the 4 battles, mainly in Palestine, Syria. One is called the Spring of Goliath, and the second one near the city of Homs, where I was born, and the third one here, and the fourth one here, and that basically ended the forward motion of the Mongols into Islamdom. But something else happened.
Move, get out of there.
Now Lambert, being the Shiites and the Alawites and so on, is in fact now firmly on the side of Ripley, and then fighting against her own nation, if you will, or religion, or, you know, and so on and so forth. But he knows, right? Ash knows what's going to happen. Well, he was concerned, let's say. Here, Ash is concerned the outcome of the battles, and the battles mainly of the Mamluks or the Khawarizm, right? That came from Egypt into Syria and so on. The Muslims in general, right? From North Africa. And the Middle East too, right? So he's concerned here, you know, what's going to happen. He's afraid that he is going to win against the xenomorph here. But the xenomorph obviously proved very powerful, right? Even though, right? Notice he's very concerned about the outcome. And that's like about, I would say, about 1,000 to 1,200 years ago. And of course, there are, when they mention Jesus, they mean the Crusaders, right? They also sent from the east, and then the Ripley's and the Safiya and the Sarahs sent also from Europe, the Crusaders, right, later. No, actually, they were there at the same time, almost the same time. Right? I showed you that. Of course, they portray him as a monster, but you know, sometimes I can't blame them. You know, the superiority and strength and thinking and independence and so on and so forth, right? And here, I think there was the sperms, right? There you go. So from that on, there on, it got tainted, if you will. They got tainted, right? And I think that's that. I'm gonna stop here, and I will continue hopefully next week and finish that movie, and then probably add another video of commentary, you know, hindsight and retrospect commentary. And we'll see you later. Alligators. Like again, the movie is not my copyright, but whatever commentary is in these videos, all my videos, they cannot be used for profit. No. Bye now.